I can always tell when I ask someone, what's your financial goal for a month? And they say 20,000 a month. I'm like, you just haven't been outside. Like, you haven't gone to like see what things cost, because things 20,000 a month goes by pretty quickly when you want to live an epic life. So you got to stretch. And I think that once we get ourselves really dialed in and locked in on our dreams, and they become this relentless desire and this why, whatever that looks like for you, no matter what, you will make it happen, especially with what we have in place here. Thanks for the amazing intro, Jen. It's so awesome to be here. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I absolutely love all of you. I love the Freedom Era and I love Momentum. These are some of the most catalytic, incredible events that I've ever seen in my journey with Enagic over the past 12 years. You guys really deliver the goods, and I'm so honored to open this amazing legacy edition of Momentum at the start of 2025. Now, what I really want all of you to understand, I saw the comments, I appreciate the love so much. It's still very surreal for me, to be completely honest, to be received this way, right? To see the comments, things like Godfather and, you know, all these really incredible compliments, because I do remember the beginning. I do remember when I was the guy who was in the back of the room. I was a 1A, I was nervous, I didn't really know how I was gonna be successful, and I just had this like burning desire inside of myself, this vision and this dream to make it happen, but I had no context of what that's going to require, how long it would take, and so on. So to be here now, 12 years later in this position is quite literally the coolest feeling, because it's like me going, my reality is a match to the vision that I had. And back then, guys like Romy and Cynthia and some of the other top leaders in the company, they were already at legacy. And they were my inspiration. They were the ones that made me realize that if they could do it, I could do it. And if you're like me, that's kind of all you need, right? You just need to know that it is possible. This legacy is available to us. And that was it. Like, that's just my personality. And everything else, I'll figure it out as I go. So here we are all these years later. And I've seen some of the posts that you guys have shared with the little advertisement around me speaking. And I noticed how it said 500 million in sales. And I was like, oh, that's a bit outdated. That's kind of weird. And you know what's crazy about that is that's actually 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years later, we're going to cross $1 billion officially in sales as of this May. That's my projection. So to think about what that really means for everybody is you never know how things are going to unfold for you specifically, but everything always starts with locking into a deadline, locking into a goal, and it's always global convention. That's how you have to build this business, right? You have to build this business from event to event, online momentum, 90-day challenges and sprints, and the big events, the conventions, and you know, some of the smaller ones that we also host throughout the year. So San Diego's coming up, and that's going to be around like March 1st for me is 12 years. And when I first got started in this whole thing, I was like, man, I believe that there's going to be so much momentum. There's going to be this transformation around consciousness, around what people believe about health and wellness, around preventative medicine, holistic nutrition, taking care of our bodies. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, but over the last decade, this is exactly what's happening. Every year, we're getting more and more aware of chemicals that we shouldn't be putting in our food, you know, what's in our water, what's in our air, harmful EMF, radiation, you know, so many things that prior to years ago, it was just kind of going under the radar. So we are literally in prime position because water isn't a fad. It's not going to go out of style. You know, we're not going to evolve to a point where we're all of a sudden made of blueberry juice. You know, we're always going to be made of water. It's going to be essential to life. And we already have the very best of the best. And it's going to continue going in that direction. So when I saw this in the beginning, I was like, man, I got to get ahead of the wave. I got to get ahead of the tsunami, position myself, get up on the surfboard and cowabunga this shit all the way to freedom and legacy. You know, I don't want to get smoked by the wave, by the tsunami and taken out. I got to get on the wave. I got to be in the right place at the right time. And because of my story, a lot of you guys know that I was feeling like I was 5 years behind because I had the product in my life for 5 years. Now I know it's all perfect, and I needed to go through the things that I went through, have the experiences, work in the career and door-to-door sales. That all prepared me for what was to come. I know that now. But at the time, in the beginning, I was like, oh man, I could have been so much further along. And some of you have been in this community in a similar way for years, right? Kind of participating, watching, cheering people on. But for whatever reason, you don't think that it's you. You don't think that you're the one. And today that can change. Today you can finally realize like you're already in here, right? You've already done the difficult part, which is finding this community, which is finding the Freedom Era. It's finding Enagic. It's finding the opportunity. But stop watching. Stop cheering on. Become the person that gets cheered on as well, right? The community aspect is always going to be important. But why not you? Why aren't you winning yet? Why aren't you making 100K months yet, right? Why aren't you at 682-3 yet? Now, if you just got started, okay, you get a little bit of a grace, but not long, because you have the tools available to you, right? Now with the things that are going to be getting launched and upgraded and available to you today, things are going to go to a whole nother level again. And they've done that year after year after year after year. But until you make that conscious decision of, I'm going to be the star, I'm going to be the one on stage getting the recognition, I'm going to get the big check, I'm going to be the one speaking on stages and doing the trainings and leading the calls and being, received the way that I was just received to start this off. I want to be that person because I had to make that decision as well in the beginning. And even now I continue to go, how can we improve? What else can we do to help people win? I'm not content, right? I wouldn't be doing this anymore if that was how I was feeling. I've achieved my personal dreams. I've achieved my personal goals. And now I'm hungrier than ever to pay this forward because I know that the real fulfillment for me at this point is seeing other people set free. That's why Christy and Rebecca and Clint and the other amazing speakers who are going to be on here today, that's why we all continue to do it long after we're free, right? Is for the impact, the fulfillment, the changing of people's lives. And I want you to really think about this from a standpoint of what is legacy actually worth when it comes to opportunity cost? And this has been on my mind a lot since my son was born. He's actually turned 4 months yesterday. Is I think about the impact of my choices, the impact of my decisions, the amount of times where I didn't feel like it, I was tired, something was up, I wasn't feeling 100%, but I did it anyways. And those decisions compounded to get me to where I am today. But if I would have only shown up for myself and for my business on the days that everything was perfect, guys, I might still be 6A. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? But it was this relentless commitment to like, this moment sucks, but the long-term dividends, the payoff of this in 10 years is going to just be like hard to quantify. You know what I'm saying? So if I wouldn't have done it in the window of time that I did it, and we fast forward now to 2 kids, 4-year-old amazing girl, 4-month-old son, my wife, just the dynamics of my day-to-day life, I can't imagine how hard my life would be. Working, not around, missing moments, seeing my kids only through FaceTime or videos and not being present. Like, it would be breaking my heart every single day, and I would be fighting and clawing and trying to get to some place, and eventually the kids are moving out. And I'm like, oh, I missed it, man. I missed the window. So that's the impact of our choices. Now, I know we have people on here with kids, no kids, young and old, and everything in between. And so I'm kind of talking more to the younger people on the call, maybe the people that are not quite there yet, as a warning, as a heads up, as a precaution to actually like understand what's truly at stake. Because every, year that passes, legacy becomes more valuable. Right? The passive income, the freedom of time, the ability to choose the things you want to do becomes more valuable because you realize it getting closer to the end. And this is something that's hard to talk about for a lot of people because we don't like to think about the end or death or, regret or sacrifice and these types of things. But that's how I think. This is what kind of keeps me centered and aligned is I'm like, man, I've been at Legacy 682-3 for 9 years. 9 years. I have, the experience of a retired person who's, mind you, wealthy retired, not like pension retired, at the age of 30 until the end, and with technology advancing and AI and solving diseases and things that are coming, it's like very, very likely that we can live to be 100 plus years old when you have the financial resources to invest in the best doctors and the best treatments and the best protocols and the best recovery. And you see Christy and other leaders, they're doing red light this and sauna that and cold plunge this and cold plunge that. It takes time to do that, right? If you're busy, overwhelmed, stressed, working 18 jobs a day, you got time to go dip yourself in the pool and like run around in the jungle and go get some infrared sauna business? No, you don't have time for that. You don't have time for recovery, right? You don't have the financial resources to be able to get those things. So I think it's so powerful for us to be in a health and wellness opportunity to give that to people and also free ourselves, have the legacy income, and then have longevity in our lives with quality of life, right? Because it's not just about getting old. It's about having the quality of life to enjoy our life longer. So pop a 1 in the chat if that's why you're here. Not just to make money, not just to be free, but optimize your health, optimize your lifestyle. Have the best of the best experiences that are in alignment with who you are, alignment with your soul, alignment with your family, right? The conversations that I have with my daughter are like the greatest gift in the world. We're literally talking about escaping the rat race and reading Robert Kiyosaki's children's comic book for her bedtime story. And it's the most amazing thing. She's like, Daddy, why are they running on the circle and like as a rat in the thing? And I'm like, well, they're not really getting very far, are they? They're like, no, they should get off. And I'm like, yeah, exactly, baby girl, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the coolest thing ever because now I have this context to be able to talk to her and be like, Daddy used to do this before you were born. And now Daddy does this because that was the vision. She's like, thank you, Daddy, for this lifestyle. Thank you for the freedom. She says this stuff. She's 4. And I know all of you that are in a similar situation with young kids know what I'm talking about is like, man, that right there, that moment was worth everything else that happened in the past. It makes it priceless. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, guys, we're really in a unique situation with the wave that is happening. And what happened with GPM and with TFE, because I've been building with Clint now for, I don't even know, 9 years, 10 years, around there. So he's been there, Christy's been there for so many of these changes as well. But we went online before most people were going online, especially with Enagic, right? We pioneered and led that path. And then when COVID hit, we were already 5 or 6 years ahead of the curve with doing things online. And all of a sudden, people couldn't do in-person events. The way that they built their businesses with sharing the water and demos kind of wasn't going to work anymore. So all of a sudden, everyone had this brilliant idea to do Zoom meetings. And we kind of cracked up a little bit. We're like, yeah, it's about time, guys. We've been here for a minute. And I think now in the last couple of years, the same thing is starting to happen with AI. And there's going to be lots more talk about that on Momentum. But I think what's really interesting for all of you guys to grasp is that there's this unfair advantage right now that is available to everybody, and most people are still sleeping on it. They're not utilizing it. They're not stepping into this opportunity of leveraging AI along with our business models and systems and community and training. And you really got to think about where's this going to go next? You know what I mean? Because we saw this massive influx of business when we went online, but now we're taking online and we're multiplying it by 1,000. Now we're going to have tools available that solves people's problems around things that they don't know how to do or they're not very great at. So you basically stay in your zone of genius, focus on your strengths, get support with different forms of AI tools that are available to kind of make you a complete marketer, make you a complete business person in an accelerated way. So typically in the past, the learning curve would have to take a certain amount of time for you to make the mistakes, go trial and error, read the books, you know what I mean, and develop yourself, which is always going to be important. But now we accelerate all of that. It's like personal transformation on demand. Click a button, you're already there. So it's like teleportation in a way because you get to skip the 3 months, 6 months, 12 months of figuring it out the hard way because AI is your buddy that's like, hey, how do I overcome this? And you get there faster. And as you start to develop this muscle and the skill set, you're actually learning in real time. I'll give you an example. If you're asking AI to help you with something like hooks for social media posts, and you start reading all these hooks that it gives you immediately, don't you think that you start to think, oh, that's what a hook is. That's how hooks work. You're actually learning in real time. There's a feedback loop. So you're getting smarter, and at the same time, the AI is also getting smarter with you as well. So this is what's coming more and more and more. It's going to accelerate everything. People are going to rank up faster. They're going to make more sales easier. It's going to free up more freedom. Free up more freedom. You see what I did there? But you're going to have more and more and more opportunities. And at the end of the day, this is going to affect the workforce. This is going to affect mundane jobs where people are complacent, people are comfortable, they go through the motions, they're checked out. Beep, beep, beep. It's like, come on, man. Like, you're not even using your potential, right? It's just such a simple thing that pretty soon it's going to be robots and automated and the rest of it. So what's going to happen? People are going to have to choose to evolve or stay the same. And when that happens, we're going to continue to be leading the way because we have health and wellness technology, we have personal branding, we have community, we have all of the pieces of the puzzle that makes this undeniably the best high-ticket opportunity online, right? We're with a company that's projected to continue growing. Last month, they did 30,000 units for the first time in company history. I'm pretty sure it was the first time in January. Okay, I remember when 20,000 units was like the goal for the company for years and years and years and years and years. Now it went from 20 to 30,000 in a very short period. And just so you guys know, GPM did 12,000 plus units collectively, everybody, in January with $35 million USD in sales volume, and 50% of that got paid out, more like 70 with bonuses. So the point is that we're crushing it. We're in the right place at the right time, and everything is accelerating to the point where you just have to understand, what are you going to do about this? Because there will be a time in the future when we're celebrating the 60th anniversary of Enagic, right? It's coming up in 9 years. And that's going to be the same amount of time since Clint got started, right? 9 years ago. So where are you going to be in 9 years from now? How many people have you impacted in that time frame, right? How many people have you helped create legacy businesses, not just yourself, but in your organization? Everything that is happening in my business is a preview of what's possible in your business. And when I fully understood that, when I heard Romy talking about he has 2,000 6As in his downline, and I had a couple hundred at that point, I was like, what? 2,000? Guess how many we have in GPM now? 2,000 6As. Just a few years later. So when you see that it's connected and we actually have a preview of what's possible for you, then you got to lock in, right? And every single person that you hear on these calls, guest speakers, top leaders, top income earners, as Jen mentioned earlier, not only do they have undeniable work ethic and belief in themselves, but they literally sacrifice a window of time where they're all in on this business. It's the number one priority. They're not scattered. They're not distracted. They don't have a bunch of things going on. Those people are going too slowly, and they're missing the opportunity to create momentum. And that's what we're here to talk about today, right? In the next number of hours, you're going to actually learn some things that can take your business and drive it into maximum momentum. But without that dedication and that focus to basically say yes to everything that can move your business forward and study meticulously and take action every single day, you're killing the momentum. Every time you get a little forward progress, you go and get drunk on the weekend and you're out of commission for 2 days and you don't even know, what planet you're on because you're hungover, and that kills momentum. Or you're feeding your body junk food that kills your energy and you can't produce and you can't think clearly and you can't get stuff done. So you got to lock in, not just in business, you got to lock in your personal life. You got to get rid of people that are draining you and holding you back and talking shit and being negative and being cynical and this is never going to work and it's a scam. Out, gone. It cannot be in your awareness. I'm telling you right now, you cannot be successful when you have somebody chit-chatting in your ear making you doubt yourself. You're going to doubt yourself enough anyways, because that's part of human nature, right? We have good days, we have hard days. We are already our toughest critic on ourselves. We don't need anybody else to support the negativity, right? Same thing with health and fitness, man. You got to get yourself dialed in. You got to take care of your body. You got to exercise. You got to train. And you got to sleep, right? This whole hustle mentality of like sleep when I'm dead. No, that's so, 1995. Like, you got to sleep, man. You got to recover. You got to take care of yourself. And when you're a representation of taking care of yourself, you become magnetic. You become charismatic. You become attracted, right? And we do attraction marketing. So like nobody is attracted to somebody who doesn't take care of themselves when they're promoting a health and wellness company. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So the best way for you to be attractive is for you to be a representation of taking care of yourself and respecting yourself and loving yourself and being an embodiment of the solutions that you're sharing with others. If you're in conflict to that, right? If you're preaching one thing and you're not doing it, that is going to really hurt you. It's going to hurt you on a health level, but it's going to also hurt you on a business level and growth level. And most of you that have been in this community for many, many years and haven't really seen a lot of growth, that's probably the first place that I would look. Are you in alignment with what you say you are and who you are? Or are you kind of living the secret life behind closed doors that doesn't really add up? So once you get locked in and you actually are focused on the things that you say and you don't miss and you show up, everything will start to shift for you, I promise. Because like I said, AI gives people this equal playing field of access to this like infinite knowledge thing, right? Even Clint said he's now married to ChatGPT. Things are getting weird out there on the internet. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. Next thing you know, we got convention and people are bringing ChatGPT as their +1. I don't know. It's going to get weird, guys. But the point that I'm making is like it creates this equal playing field. But no matter what, even if you have access to that information, your physical representation is still going to show the truth, right? You could have all the knowledge at your fingertips and then not actually follow through on that stuff. So I think that we are entering an age of abundance, of truth, of authenticity. It's becoming more and more the normal and the regular, and everything else is falling to the wayside. And all the gimmicky companies, all the gimmicky online businesses, they're all going to just start to fade away, okay? And so we're like, just keep our eyes focused, keep going, keep speaking the truth, keep being our best version of ourselves, and really double down on this age, the diamond decade that Enagic has, because we're on an upward trajectory. Eventually, in the not so distant future, TFE will be doing 30,000 units a month. TFE, not even GPM. TFE will do 30,000 units a month. And you know the only way that that's going to be possible? If a lot of you listening right now are doing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 sales a month in your businesses. And those decisions get made on momentum. Those decisions get made right here, right now. Those declarations where you're writing in your notes right now, you're not taking notes, guys. You got the replay. You can watch the replay. You know what you should be writing on your paper right now? Declarations. I'm going all the way. I will have 1,000 units a month in my business. I will be 6A2-3. That's what you should be writing down with this energy, because the note stuff, it's not that valuable. It is, but not as valuable as you being like right here, right now. This is the date. Underline that shit right there, because that's what I've done over the years. Every event, everything, I made a declaration. Okay, that's it. The old me isn't going to cut it anymore, right? Just like last year, beginning of 2024, I said, the Balazs that has drinks is not going to be the guy who gets me to where I want to go. And it's been 14 months now of no drinks. Not that I had a problem with drinking, I didn't. But there was just this thing where right when I was getting some momentum, man, right when things were really clicking, there was a holiday, there's a long weekend, there was a party, there's a birthday, there's something. And I just slipped up a little bit, had a little fun, loosened up, had some drinks. And then I'm like, man, I just don't feel the same. My strength went down at the gym. I had brain fog for a few days. I'm like, man, listen, if I want to go to this other level, I cannot waste those days each year. So I made a decision. And I'm not saying necessarily it's forever, but it is for right now, right? So I had to make that choice. What needs to die in me to become the person I say I want to be? So ask yourself that right now. Only you know the truth. And there's a lot of people on here just BSing themselves. Oh, I'm doing everything in the training. Oh, I'm showing up to every call. Oh, I'm working so hard. No, you're not. The reason I know you're not is because your results would show, right? You can only BS around for so long until people are like, listen, man, if you actually were doing the right things, you would have the results. Because we have so many people in the community that are actually doing the work and they're actually getting the results. So therefore, something is off, right? And what I love so much about Enagic and TFE and the industry as a whole is that we all have access to the same stuff. We have the same products. They cost the same amount of money. We have the same training. We have the same funnels. We have the same community. So what is the only variable? You're the X factor, right? And so if something isn't working, chances are you're BSing yourself and it's just going to keep you stuck for too long. And that's what I love so much about what Christy and everybody in the community continues to do is they sit there and go, how do we get better? How do we improve? How do we level up? How do we launch new things? And they continue to over deliver each and every time. So let's talk about the rest of this year. Let's talk about where you could be by San Diego. You're going to have an opportunity right now to prove to yourself, to prove to everyone in the community that you're not average. The only people who make it up on stage are people that surpass the average expectations. So let me give you an example. If we tell you that you should spend at least $5 a day on ads, and most of you listen and go, okay, I'll do $5 a day on ads or $10 a day on ads. That's average. If we say that you should reach out to 5 people a day, it's average. Does this make sense? So anytime that I was learning about the quote unquote daily method of operation or the income producing activities, every time I heard a number being thrown around, I doubled it secretly. Nobody had to know, but I was like, oh, so everyone's doing 5? I'm going to pretend I'm doing 5 and I'll go do 5, 10, 15, 20 because no one's going to see me coming. And guess what's happened over the course of these 12 years? Number one at all different levels, right? In the early days, I was number 1 for direct sales and producing and production. Then I was a number 1 at 6A. Then I was number 1 at 6A2. Then I was number 6A3. And I'm not saying that it was me, only me, but I am saying that it wasn't an accident. There was never a time in 12 years where I'm like, I don't care about being number 1. It doesn't matter. No. It's always mattered. Because we want to push the envelope around what's possible and we don't want to be average. Average isn't inspiring. Average doesn't impact and change the world. Average doesn't, create the life that you want. So all of you need to ask yourselves, are you barely even putting in the effort? Are you just getting by to say that you gotten by? Or are you really going above and beyond? Because if you do that for the next 90 days, right? No matter what level you are right now, you can rank up to 6A or past 6A, depending on your level, in the next 90 days. 90 days is so much time when you're locked in. And most of you probably have never really done a full 90 days being locked in. And the perfect example of a legitimate, epic 90 days is Clinton Christie's first 90 days when they went from being broke to like almost when Venny was born to having $100,000 a month in 90 days. They went all in. And they know that, right? I know that, they know that, everybody knows that. So now if someone doesn't get that type of a result, we know you kind of went in, you didn't go all in. So how many of you want to replicate and duplicate that type of 90-day sprint where you go from literally buying rice and eggs on 2 credit cards, having a kid on the way, having all odds stacked against you, and having your first $100,000 month between now and San Diego? It's really not that difficult, but you have to be all in. How many people watching right now are going to have their first $100,000 month in the next 90 days? Yeah. Imagine what will happen in your life. The momentum that is required to have a $100,000 a month, what do you think happens the following month? Do you think you go to 0? Or do you think that it continues to ride and now your team, your community, your organization go, you did what? Oh, that's possible? Yeah, it is. Which then all of a sudden makes $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in a month. Cool, but not that cool. Most people are aiming for $10,000 in a month in a high-ticket business where you can make thousands on one sale. Come on, guys. We need to reestablish what's possible here. We need to set some bigger goals. You guys need to go dreaming and go do some window shopping and go exploring and seeing the beautiful things in this world. Go to an open house on the beach. You know, if it's up for sale and it's like a beach house or something, if that's your thing, or a cabin in the woods or on a big property, whatever it is, go dream some more, right? Go walk through there and be like, wow, this is possible for me. And then do the quick math. This is $2 million. How many quads? Hit legacy, blah, blah, blah. Oh shit, I'm 3 years away. But you have to remember that you got to dream, guys. If you're not dreaming big, you're wasting your time. Because all of the things that are possible and available to anybody is available to you, right? There was a time in my life where driving nice cars and going on 5-star holidays, retiring my wife, retiring my mom was all a far-fetched dream. But I was like, you know what? Why not? And so I think if all of us dream bigger and we go find out what it actually takes to get our hands on this stuff, to make it our physical reality, experiences, homes, cars, giving back, impact, charity, whatever it is that lights you up truly, where you feel unstoppable and relentless. It could be retiring your parents, right? It could be putting your kids through some kind of special education that they really, really desire, or they want to go to some, ballet school in New York. And it's like cost X. And you're like, oh, we can't afford it. Yes, you can. Maybe not in the past, but yes, you can. You can afford it starting right now. You see what I'm saying? So I think that when we really stretch and we really start to see, like, one of the funniest stories, I've shared this before, but I'll share it again, is I used to go to car dealerships, to really, really high-end cars, and walk in and just be like ready to buy the car. Except there was only one little small, little tiny detail, one little problem. I didn't have any money. But I could go in. It was free to go inside. I could go up to the salesperson and pretend. I could tell him that I wanted a black on black and I wanted these features because I already did some research on the internet. I could sit in it. I could test drive it. I could do all that stuff, and it's technically free. And then you have to sign on the dotted line. It's like time to buy it. And it's like, oh shit, forgot my wallet. And not only did I forget my wallet, but even if I had it, doesn't have anything in it. But I'll be back, right? But most of you don't even go to that step because you don't think that you're worthy. You don't think it's possible, and you have no context. You don't know how much you need. And I can always tell when I ask someone, what's your financial goal for a month? And they say 20,000 a month. I'm like, you just haven't been outside. Like, you haven't gone to like see what things cost, because things, 20,000 a month goes by pretty quickly when you want to live an epic life. So you got to stretch. And I think that once we get ourselves really dialed in and locked in on our dreams, and they become this relentless desire and this why, whatever that looks like for you, no matter what, you will make it happen, especially with what we have in place here. And that's what most people are missing. They're missing a big enough why. For me, my why was my family, first and foremost. And then after I had that part kind of sorted out, it was what kind of experience did I want to have with my family? Because freedom is like level one, right? You could be free on a few $1,000s a month, live very modestly, live very basically, and that's perfect. That's way better than being away from your family and your kids. But I was like, you know what? I think that there's some more opportunity here. I think there's more opportunity for traveling, for cool experiences, and to have this unlimited like options and choices available. Don't you guys agree? Don't you want to have like endless choices in life? Because life is just, it's like a cheat code. It really is. And we talk about this all the time, but I cannot stress it to you enough that when you have time, location, and financial freedom with systems, automation, AI, community, love, heart, service, my goodness gracious, guys, does it really get any better than this? And you treat your business with love like you treat your family with love. It's all intertwined. It's interconnected. You know what I'm saying? It's such a harmonious way to live. It's truly returning to origin, but in a very abundant next level way. And every single year, this continues to evolve. It continues to improve. None of us top leaders are complacent. None of us are done. None of us are finished. None of us are too good. No, you literally have the creme de la creme of people who want to see you win, right? And when we do these calls and I have a quick glance at these comments and I see your name, I see you as a human. I see you as with your family. I see you as your kids. I see your pain. I see your problems, because we're all just the same. right? And the fact that you're not free yet, it fires me up. And that's why I want you to really see what's possible here, right? Really stretch yourself. Get yourself on stage in San Diego as a 6A and above. Feel that feeling of what you have, that potential within yourself, because once you do that one time, you become a completely new person. You go back to your team and you say, look, I've done it. Now it's your turn, right? We always talk about the stories in our journey are more than just that moment. They become a chapter that we leverage and share forever. So this opportunity for you right now can play out one of two ways. I was on Momentum. We talked about 90 days. We talked about $100,000 a month. We talked about being all in, and I did it. Or womp, I didn't. That's pretty much the two options that you have. And I think that with the upgrades that are going to be given to you a little bit later, which are super exciting, by the way, you're going to have even more reasons to hit it, because the things that are in your way right now, a lot of those things are going to be solved. A lot of those things are going to be opened up in a very, very leveraged, abundant way. So if you're ready to truly actually run for the next 90 days, cut out distractions, guys. Let everybody in your life know. Go down to the minimum, the basic, the stuff that is just the least stuff that you got to continue doing for the next 90 days. If you got young kids, if you got a spouse, if you got a lot of obligations, just have a family meeting and be like, listen, mommy and daddy or whoever's doing the business, we're going to completely change the trajectory of our family in the next 90 days. And it's going to be rough. It's not going to be all comfortable. It's going to be intense. But in 90 days, we're going to go to San Diego. And guess what, guys? In San Diego, there's an amazing zoo. You can go there with your family. There's a beautiful beach. There's lots of fun things to do. Mexico and some other beautiful places are close by for those of you coming in internationally. Turn it into a holiday. Crush the next 90 days. Really create that momentum. Have $100,000 a month. Go on stage. Hit 6A. Celebrate. Have a team meetup. Really feel like, wow, man, my life is just next level incredible. And then go celebrate with your family. Thank them for the support. Thank them for the love. Take them to Disneyland. Go to the zoo. Whatever lights you up and gets you excited. And then feel this cycle of success, man. We make the sacrifice. We lock in and dial in for 90 days. Then we go on stage. Get the big fucking hurrah. Post it on social media. Tell the haters to shut the fuck up. And then we're going to go celebrate. And pop some bottles of K8 or of 9.5. You guys feel me? Because that's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing. We're going -7. We're going -6. We're going -5. We're going -4. We're going -3. We're going to be Mrs. Dash up in this shit with the seasoning on all the food, right? We're going to be all the Dash. That's the shit. I cook with that Dash shit just so I could see Dash sprinkle on my food. I'm like, Mrs. Dash, yeah, baby, -7 right here. Let's get it. Seriously, let's get it. And I think that what's so amazing about all of this, guys, is that you can do this. We're not sitting here blowing smoke up your butt that you can and you really can't. You truly, genuinely can. And people need this. They're waiting for you to show up. And what's going on right now in the world, there's this wealth revolution happening, but there's also a health revolution happening too. If you've been paying attention to some of the mainstream stuff, the truth is being exposed around COVID. Water is being talked about with the stuff going on in the States, and now RFK is the health, minister, secretary, whatever the hell his title is. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on. And for those of us that have been on the forefront of health and wellness and truth and seeing through the lies and the deception and the bullshit, we're celebrating because we're like, finally, this is going on, and we're already in the right spot. We're already positioned, right? And a lot of what goes on in America goes across to other parts of the world too, and it's kind of like a really exciting time. Because as we all know, I don't know if you probably know or you probably agree, the previous 4 years, man, were weird. There was some weird stuff going on, right? People were confused about their gender. Like, it was some really crazy stuff going on. And now all of a sudden we're like getting back to like, no. Like, this is the truth over here, And it's a really, really exciting time to no longer be in the twilight zone that happened before. So we're primed, we're positioned. We did $248 million USD in sales last year. We're projected to do over 300 million in 2025. We're an upward, rocket ship. And I believe truly that for those of you that are in this opportunity right now that are part of Momentum, you're the future leaders that are going to be legacy level, right? How many people do we have? 400 people. Do we have some more people in a Facebook group or something? I'm not sure. I think it's probably more than that. But this is 400-682-3s right here, right now. But it's not going to cut it for you to be like posting here and there and just kind of like, waiting for people to come to you. And nah, man, you got to go get this thing. You got to go get it. Who's going to go get it? Put a 1 in the chat if you're going to go get it. Because I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's so incredibly abundant. And when I'm with my family now, I can't imagine what would have happened if I didn't go all in and get this. And only those of us that have made it to this point, looking back, can really fully understand what I'm saying, right? If you're not there yet, it's hard to kind of grasp. But ask Christine Clint what their life would be like right now if they weren't free, They'd probably be like, stop that right now. I'm going to have some kind of like shakes and a nightmare and scream. No, stop that. Right? Ask Beck what it would be like if she wasn't at Legacy. Ask Jessica what it would be like, even though she just hit it recently. But she knew. She knew what she was fighting for. She did it. And I saw some of her stories. It was so beautiful. She's like, I'm just soaking it all in, man. I got nothing to say. Just popping some wine with my family in the backyard. And I'm like, that's it. That's it right there. Because she locked it in. Right? So all of you right now that are watching everyone else winning, you got to shift your frequency. You got to shift your energy into now it's your turn. It's your turn to shine. And it's your turn to be celebrated. It's your turn to go legacy because you've seen enough proof, right? I had this conversation with someone recently that I wanted to share. Actually, it just reminded me of this. They said, I get so frustrated when I see all these people winning and I'm not making sales and I'm not one of them and I haven't ranked up and, it's really discouraging and right? And I get that. A lot of people think this and feel this way. And so I just kind of flipped it and I said, okay, would you be more inspired if nobody was winning? Would you be more inspired if there were no sales happening and nobody was at Legacy and it was all just a dream and everyone was like, maybe someone can finally do it? Would that be more inspiring for you? Would you be less discouraged because you could be first? She's like, well, no. I'm like, so isn't it the most incredible thing that every time you log onto social media, someone's winning, someone quit their job, someone hit Legacy, someone went 6A? Is that not just an undeniable evidence that you can do this? So that's how I see it, right? We're literally a part of an incredible opportunity where there's not these long periods of time where nobody wins. And then you get the one random person a year, woo, 6A. And everyone's like, no, it's like 30, 40, 50 people a month hitting 6A. So why not you? Why not you? I'm fired up. I'm so fired up. I love the energy. I love that you guys are here. I love that you guys are doing the Sunshine Coast Freedom Party. What's up? I see you guys. Amazing. Who else is over here? We got, how many parties do we got cracking? We got Sandy Beach. We got Naomi, Darby parties. Who else is a party? We got Renee Ferris party. Wollongong beer pong party. Woo! This is amazing. So I'm way underestimating. We have 400 people on live, and then we have, I don't know how many of you that have dozens of people literally in your house. It's super cool, super exciting. You guys are the best community, seriously. You guys are all in, you're dedicated, but you just have to make this identity shift to not be a spectator, to not be a cheerleader, to not be on the sidelines, rah, 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 everyone else. No, man, that's just part of the game. But there's nothing better than being the one getting the rah, rah, being the one being celebrated, being the one who's getting the results. You know what I'm saying? And then you turn around and you still congratulate everybody because that energy is infectious. Everybody wins more when everybody wins more. It's connected, right? I don't know about you, but I never want to be the weakest link on a team. Who wants to be the weakest link on a team? Who wants to be the one who's been in the longest with the least results? Nobody, right? So you get to choose that. You get to choose that and be like, no, listen, I'm not going to be one of these people that have been on the bandwagon for all these years, seeing what's possible, seeing the wins, seeing the potential, and still not really winning. Go after it like you truly want it, right? I always look at these opportunities like convention as like a do or die deadline. And that's why when we went 682-6 a couple years ago, right before convention, we literally kept missing our deadlines until like an hour before we went on stage. For everybody who was part of that legacy run, you know what I'm talking about. It was so crazy. But because we all locked in and said, no, this is going to get done, this is going to get done, this is going to get done, it literally got done like moments before, right? But that's how you need to treat these events. You need to book your flight, book your hotel, have a calendar, block off the days, 91 days to go, 90 days to go. You got to take this more seriously. What's at stake? You think it's only a rank that's at stake, but there's so much more. Because you have an opportunity to prove you can, or you have an opportunity to say that you didn't. And both of those have a serious effect on the future of your confidence of what you're going to do in 2026, what you're going to do in 2027, right? And the ripple effect of you making it happen is where that exponential growth comes from. And I've seen a bunch of you at events, and some of you haven't ranked up in a while. It's your time. This is your year. You got to do it. You already know what's in your way. You already know your vices. You already know your bad habits. You already know your excuses. Don't you? Put a 2 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. So right now, before I finish up here, because I don't know, am I doing Q&A now or am I doing Q&A later? I just have to double check for my time. Can you just let me know, please?
Hey, Balazs, you can do some Q&A now if you like. You've got like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. Okay, so before we do the Q&A, I'm going to just give everyone a minute, take a piece of paper, whatever you're writing notes on, and I want you to make a list of all the things you need to stop doing. All the bad habits, the bad choices, the bad vibes, the bad, the things that you know are in your way from the results that you say you want. And I want you to just dedicate the next 90 days to have that willpower, that discipline, that commitment to just eliminate the stuff that you know that you've wanted to stop doing for quite a while. And you almost do, but you kind of don't. You almost do, but you kind of don't. And then whatever that is on that list, write that down. The things you're going to stop doing for the next 90 days. And then right beside it on the piece of paper, I want you to draw a line and put what you're going to start doing instead. That's productive, income producing. That's going to build your business. That's going to get you sales. That's going to rank you up. And then execute that plan for 90 days with everything that you're going to learn here today, with all the other amazing guest speakers and new tools and upgrades. And I mean, seriously, guys, like I don't even know how you guys are not, you got to go put your adult diapers on because it's going to get crazy around here. Like what's going to happen the rest of this day, It's going to be that big. All right. So put your adult diapers on and I'll do some Q&A. It's so funny because I'm a dad with a newborn, so like I got all these diaper and poopy references and stuff. I didn't even think I was going to say that, but I did. So here we go. Put your adult diapers on and let's roll with it. Okay, quick Q&A before I hand it back over to Jen. I think the best advice I can give you is if this is your number one vision and goal and dream that you want to create success in this business, then wake up every single morning early and get after it. Because otherwise you're putting too many other things that can get in your way, from traffic to, just the day, how it unfolds and your emotions and stuff. But if you go to bed early, wake up, work on your vision, work on your business, generate leads, generate sales for a couple of hours before the day begins, that is going to guarantee that you make progress every single day without missing. And that momentum is really going to build. And then if you build your business and work on it in the afternoon or evening as well, those are basically like bonus opportunities, but you're not depending on that because of how the day might unfold. So my number one advice is if this is the thing that can change everything for you, which it can, and set your family up for legacy and generations to come and unlock all the choices and freedom in your life, then I believe it should come first. And how it comes first is first thing in the morning. and then you don't miss. So that's my advice to everybody, because I'm sure a lot of you have great intentions. I'm going to work on my business tomorrow. I'm so excited. I just need to get some rest. And then the next day it's like, oh, I almost did, but the kids in the poopy diapers and the traffic and a tree fell on my car. You're like, how is this stuff even happening to you? But it is. And you didn't build your business, right? And so if that happens over the course of a year, you might actually work on your business 20% of the time that you thought you would, and that's why you're getting minimal results. But if you did it every single day for 365 days, I mean, imagine where you could be a year from today. Couple of things. I think whenever you run into a plateau or a roadblock in your business, always think, how can I leverage this, right? So you'll probably feel like a broken record. You say the same thing all the time when it comes to motivation and getting your team to XYZ. So how do you automate that process? So you basically could do it a few different ways. You can create a series of videos, you put it in an email autoresponder, your new team member signs up and they get an email every few days from you with a video. They watch it, it's still you motivating them, but you're not actually having to do that. So that's one example of that. Another example would be teaching them how to do a prompt in, for example, ChatGPT. That's their motivational coach. They go in the morning, they pop in their little prompt, and it tells them to get their fucking shit together and get back on track. So there's just different, my brain has been rewired to think like, man, I've done this way too many times. Why has this not been automated? Why is there not leverage created here? And so that's how, if you start thinking this way, it's great. Yeah, it's a mix between expectations. So a lot of the time, we've talked about this where people overpromise when they first make the sale, and it kind of includes that enabling language and promise that will be a thing. And so they're kind of expecting that. Whereas if you set that expectation before anybody even joins your business, like, look, you have a limited amount of time to be an apprentice, to learn. I can do 5 calls with you to like get your first few sales. You got to learn what to do. And then you're on your own. Like, you graduate out to the next point. Then that really sets the bar right from the beginning. And also all of those videos that are in like a training portal are really valuable, but you still need to have that self-led login, go find it, which is like an obvious for a leader. But if you take that same information and put it into an email drip campaign, it's the exact same stuff, a link right to it, and you literally go Motivation Monday with Tash, and you have 50 videos go out every Monday automatically to their email after they get started. That's leverage. So now you have 50 little things you can email. Or if you have Q&A, sometimes people literally don't know what to ask. They have a problem in their business, but they don't know how to ask or to share because they just haven't been taught how to do that. So then you could do like a Q&A series, like, how do you do X? Have the answer and put that into an autoresponder. So these are all ways of creating leverage where you do the work once and it just continues to help at scale as your team grows and people grow. But yeah, most of the time, a lot of the problems in our business are actually created on the very initial call. Oh, hit me up anytime you need anything. I'll always have your back. I got you. You're going to help you be free, whatever, right? And you're not even realizing that you're basically saying like, I'm going to hold your hand and basically here's my boobie for life. And like this kind of language, you don't even mean to say that. So instead, you go, no, you don't understand. I'm going to help you get this thing off the ground, 5 calls, 5 sales, and then you're done. And then everything else, here's the training. And they go, okay. And then you set that expectation in a completely different way. So that has made a huge difference for me with anyone I've ever worked with, and also leaders that I've kind of taught that to. Yeah, you don't want to say I'll change your poopy diaper forever, Yeah, but it's not a job, right? Often people come into this being like, yeah, I know that I'm an independent distributor or I know that I'm a business owner, but they're still super programmed to not be able to do it unless they're basically told what to do, which is an employee. It is not an entrepreneur. It is not, an online business owner. All right, next question. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot to unpack there. So first of all, I just want to send you my love because I can't imagine everything you've had to do and sacrifice for 14 years to be where you are. So massive love and respect to you for everything you've been doing. And you remember, like, my podcast and my story and the context of where I share from can only ever be based on my life, right? So I'm 39, I got young kids, like that's the only sort of experience that I can relate on. However, I think that in your case, you're able to really step into this other chapter of like before and after, how it's been, how it was, and how I want it to be, and really like dial that in into your messaging to other families and speak to people that are like the 14 years ago Irene, right? The lessons that you can share based on what you've been through and what's happened to kind of give people a heads up or give people some insight to make different choices and changes. Because the best way we can help someone is helping the older version of ourselves that we understand intimately, right? So like you understanding what you've been through in 14 years is your content. It is your angle. It is your story that is so powerful. And then you can really impact other people by doing that rather than being in regret or in victim mode or these other things where you almost don't want to talk about those things. You want to kind of like sugarcoat it or avoid it or speak more generically. I would go right into the deeper depths of your emotions and really bring that to the forefront in your content, because it will connect with people and you'll inspire them and change their lives. And then once you get that positivity flowing back to you of thank you, Irene, for sharing what you've been through, now I can have a different experience with my kids or my future family or things like this, that will begin this positive momentum for you. And then you'll be off to the races and really crush it. I think that's probably my time. I don't know if we have any more. I don't want to go over, but let me know. Yeah, sure. Let's do one more. I think procrastination comes from focusing on the wrong side of the equation, right? I think procrastination is super selfish. You're thinking about what is going to happen, what the person's going to say. You don't want to be judged. You don't want to be wrong. It's all about you. Me. And I don't want to be put in a situation where I get my ego hurt. And so I would rather delay this feeling, this potential feeling of bruising the ego and having something not go my way. It's super, super selfish. When you make it about others, when you make it about impact, when you make it about sharing your value and your truth without that attachment, then the procrastination goes away because you actually have purpose and you're going after purpose that doesn't involve your own like self-loathing and like self-focus. And so that's one of the things that I would say. And then the other thing is that procrastination is a habit. If you've always done it, it's all you know how to do. So you're just an expert procrastinator, but you can switch that into becoming an expert action taker. And then next thing you know, you're like, wow, I actually love being a producer. I love getting shit done. I love moving the needle forward. I love this momentum and positivity that happens from doing things and completing things and getting to the next level. So you actually become someone who doesn't identify with being a professional procrastinator, but a professional producer, and then everything unlocks from you. So don't be selfish and shift the habit into being a professional producer and watch your life change. Yeah, no, that's an amazing question. Definitely. It was one of those things where my style of mentorship, leadership is to gently remind people that I'm there. So people would post things like on their social media, sharing like financial struggles or, complaining or, anything along those lines. And I would always pay attention and go, here's an opportunity for me to leave a little cheeky comment, right? So that was kind of going on with Clint a little bit in the DMs prior to us having that chat where I was like, hey, Clint, how you doing, mate? And, just kind of like a hello. And then he'd read it and be like, oh, this guy again. So it was kind of a funny lead up to that moment. But then finally I said, hey, I want to get on the call with you and I just want to tell you something, share something really, really important with you. I think you're going to want to hear this. So that made him get on the phone. We talked and I said, look, man, I've been running for this rank advancement for over 3 years. And I've basically built all the pieces of this puzzle. And guess who is the final piece? And I just kind of left it there. And he's like, let me guess, it's me. And I was like, yes, brother, you have to go 6A. I'm going to support you. This is a unique opportunity because I'm going to be available to you 24/7 for the next 6 weeks to get this done. And obviously he was in Australia, I was in North America, so it was a super inconvenient time zone difference for me. I said, you tee up the call, I'll be available. We'll tag team this. You edify me. You set me up. You share my story. You talk about my success and my wins and my health and everything that's happened with Enagic. You tee that up and basically just line up the call, and then I would get on the call and basically edify Clint back as being the number one up and coming Enagic guy in Australia. It's a unique opportunity. This is ground floor. It's just the start, which is all true, and that's exactly where we were at. And we would just tee up these sales. And really what it came down to is I'm like, brother, this is going to be a story we're going to be able to share for the rest of our lives. It's just going to be one of those epic runs, 6 weeks, all in, super fun. We're going to be brothers. We're going to have a bond forever, which is all what's happened. And we're going to get to meet each other in person for the very first time in Las Vegas. Like, can it get any better than that? And so he's like, I'm in. I was like, I'm in. And then after that, he was willing to do his part. I did my part. We both kept our integrity. We followed through on our word. I never bailed on him. He never bailed on me. And it was just one of those epic partnerships that, it was very much, we were both 100% all in to get it done. And it was literally one of the funnest stretches of time in my 12 years with Enagic that I'm forever grateful for. So anybody who's in a similar situation in your business, you kind of just got to give it context that it's so much bigger than what is required in this little bit of a stretch, because 5-10 years from now, you'll still be kind of laughing about it and be like, remember that time, man? That was crazy. And just, it's the moments that we truly live for, the same way that in sports, it's those runs to, make it to the Super Bowl or the championship run. It's like, it's actually being in the trenches of the business that makes it fun, because there's something, it's an intangible thing is like at risk. And it really, especially men, it really tests us like, okay, like we got this shit, and it's really, really fun. So that's my advice to you. Lock in, really talk about it, and then make sure it's an equal energy exchange in terms of all-in energy and all-in commitment, and just do it old school, man. Like, sometimes we overcomplicate it with fancy funnels and ads and all of that stuff, which is really powerful, and you definitely should do that. But that straight human face-to-face 3-way calls, meet up at the cafe, show the plan is also really powerful to do it in these these runs, because you cannot deny the contagious energy and frequency and excitement that you can face to face with somebody where they just like, I don't even know what this is, but I'm in. And that we had a bunch of people that were like, I don't really understand the products or the comp plan, but you two are so excited, I'm in. And we're like, yeah, you are. And so that's my advice to you. All right, that's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed my introduction and the launch of this event, Momentum. I hope you guys absolutely crush it. Go all in, create that massive success, see what you're made of in the next 90 days, reverse engineer what it takes to have a $100,000 month, and really, truly like sit with this. It's not that crazy for you to make your entire life shift in the next 90 days like so many of us has. I'll see you in San Diego. I can't wait to meet you or see you again, have a photo, have a big hug, and continue this upward trajectory that we're all on together in this incredible momentum that is here in 2025 and beyond. So enjoy the rest of Momentum. Thank you once again from the bottom of my heart for having me here. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and I'm excited to watch the rest of the day unfold. All right, thanks guys. Bye-bye.